بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيت الأطهار الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقل اعملوا فسيرى الله عملكم ورسوله والمؤمنون وستردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. Asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of our beloved Imam Mahdi ajalallah ta'ala faraju sharif with the blessing of another loud salawat. Inshallah, all of us gathering here will be amongst his companions and his sincere soldiers with the blessing of another loud salawat. In continuation of our discussion about the most important topic of our life, that each and every one of us, it is mandatory for us to get to know this topic and to have as much ma'arifah and knowledge about it as the topic of Imam al-Mahdi ajalallah ta'ala faraju sharif. It is wajibun aini. All of us, we are responsible. Each and every one of us, as much as possible, we have to gain the knowledge of the Imam of our time. It is wajib. The reason why, because we talked about it for at least 8 to 10 nights. And the famous hadith by Rasulullah, which both Shia and non-Shia agree, and they have mentioned it in their books, that the one who dies, man mata wa lam ya'rif imam zamanih mata mitatan jahiliyah. The one who dies and doesn't know the Imam of his time has died the death of ignorance. So it is wajib upon us to know. And that is why we have dedicated this whole month of Ramadan talking about the Imam. Last night we started talking about the status of the Imam. What is the role of the Imam in our lives? Even we don't see him, a physical body, we cannot communicate with him except for those people who he has granted permission to be able to see and get to know him and also to communicate with him. As the famous example, as we know, Ali ibn Mahziyar, where he sees the Imam and he gets to spend a couple of days with the Imam and communicates with the Imam. It's a very, very high status to attain. We were not able to cover one hadith relating to yesterday's topic, and inshallah we'll continue with today's topic about Imam al-Mahdi. May Allah hasten his reappearance. We said that even though the Imam is in occultation, it's hidden from us, but still we owe him everything. And we said, we brought the hadith that Ahlul Bayt alayhum as-salam, and we brought the verse of Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, earth belongs to Allah entirely, and He gives the inheritance of this earth to His pious people, to His ibad. There's a beautiful hadith that we said also, in order for our actions to be approved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need the satisfaction of Ahlul Bayt alayhum as-salam. Because this earth, the earth belongs to Ahlul Bayt alayhum as-salam. What the hadith says, ad-dunya وما فيها لله تبارك وتعالى ولرسوله ولنا. The earth and everything that's in the earth belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is Allah's land and property. ولرسوله, and it belongs to Ahl Rasul, the Holy Prophet. ولنا, meaning Ahlul Bayt alayhum as-salam. So in order for our salah, as we mentioned last night, in order our salah to be accepted, the property that we are in, if it belongs to someone, we have to make sure they are satisfied, they are radi on us for us to pray. And if I come to your house and you say, Sheikh, You can eat and sleep here, but you're not allowed to pray. My prayers won't be accepted. So Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam said, in order for us to be satisfied with you walking on our property, this earth, which again the earth belongs to Allah and He has given it to Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. In order for that to happen, for them to be satisfied, فَمَنْ غَلَبَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ مِنْهَا, for them to be satisfied, we have to have three characteristics within us. Number one, فَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهِ. In order for our action to be accepted by Allah, we need to satisfy Ahlul Bayt. And in order for us to satisfy Ahlul Bayt, they say, number one, you have to be pious. فَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهِ. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll talk deeply about taqwa and relating it to the master of the commander of the faithful, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, who is taqwa himself. فَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهِ. So we keep that. Inshallah, we'll discuss it tomorrow night. وَلْيُؤَدِّ حَقَّ اللَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى. We have to fulfill Allah's right upon us. Allah, as the creator, has right upon you and I. We are obliged to fulfill these rights. So in order for us to fulfill these rights, first we have to get to know of them. Between parentheses, when couples come to me and I do marriage counseling and I discuss with them, I tell them wife and husband, they have rights and responsibility toward one another. And in order for us to fulfill them, we have to know of them. Many of the difficulties and the challenges that happens within the families, it's because the wife and husband, they don't know each other's rights. Husband doesn't know what is his responsibility toward the wife, and wife doesn't know her responsibility toward the husband. And since we don't know these responsibility, we don't act upon them, and then we start getting into challenges and difficulties and dramas, and we try to solve it with medicine and with psychology and psychiatrics. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam have taught us. وَلْيُؤَدِّ حَقَّ اللَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى. First haqq is to obey Allah, to get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to worship Him, none but Him. In order, as we have said in the previous night, in order for us to worship Allah the way He wants us to worship Him, we have to go to the teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. I'll repeat my statement. In order for us to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way He wants us to worship, we have to go to the teachings of Muhammad and Al Muhammad, salawat by the names. There is no other path that gets us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way that we have to worship Him than Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. And you see within the sects of Islam, for example, you have the Sufi Islam. They consider themselves Muslim, they don't pray, because their teachings and their methodology of worshipping, one sect of them, to go in circle and dance and dance and dance and spin and spin and spin for hours and hours and hours. That is a form of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them. And as we said the previous night, we cannot say they are right, those who pray they are right, those who don't pray they are right, those who dance they are right. All of them are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Truth cannot be relative. Truth is one. So in order for us to fulfill Allah's right upon us, we have to get to know His representative. Because His representatives, He communicates to us by means, we communicate back to Him via means. Why can't we go directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah, He could have directly talked to us, but He brought means for you and I to know what are we allowed to do and what are we not allowed to do. What are our obligatory acts and what are our forbidden acts. So the same means that He got to us, for us to go back to Him, we have to use the same means. That's the second thing that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam want us to do in order for them to be satisfied with us walking on their property, meaning this whole earth. وَلْيَبَرَّ إِخْوَانَهُ. For him to be loyal and to be benevolent towards his brothers. Am I benevolent to my brothers and sisters? Do I need good for them? Am I loyal to them? Do I know my rights to them? In addition to 4 books that we are introducing every night, and we are reminding ourselves first and everybody else, 4 books that we should read, very good to read, for us to know the Imam of our time. Let us remind ourselves, the first book to start with, Mikyal al-Makarim. The second book, Kamal al-Din wa Tamam al-Ni'mah. Third book, Al-Ghaybah lil-Nu'mani. And the fourth book, Muntakhab al-Athar. Next book that we introduced, we must spend time reading these books. Sheikh, we don't have time, maybe 5-10 minutes a day. Well, we're talking about religion. If the religion is important to us, we have to have the knowledge of the religion. Not only we hear something here and there, one lecture here and there, one thing we learn from our parents here and there, and this is it. No, we have to ourselves, we spend time on everything else to gain the knowledge of it. And when it comes to the religion, how much do I know of this religion? Which guarantees nothing else. My job, my career, my education, my family, nothing else guarantees salvation in this world and in hereafter. Nothing else guarantees success in this world and hereafter other than religion. The book Risalatul Huquq by our 4th Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, English, Farsi, Urdu, every language that you think of it has been translated. Alhamdulillah. Very small book as far as volume is concerned, but very, very heavy as far as information is concerned. Brothers, we have responsibility toward one another. We have haqq. That if we don't fulfill one another's haqq, on the day of Qiyamah, if I don't know what is my responsibility towards you and I don't fulfill it, on the day of Qiyamah you will come in front of me, Sheikh, you knew this is my right and you didn't fulfill it. I am responsible. Within this book, 51 rights of the treaties of right. You can download it, you can purchase the book from Amazon, very easy to access. 51 rights, Risalat al-Huquq of Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. In order for me, again, let's put the whole statement together. In order for my salah, for my ibadah, for my worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for my eating, for my marriage, for my reproduction, for my everything that I do on this earth, to be satisfied by the owner of the earth, which are Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, Ahlul Bayt said you have to do these 3 things. Taqwa, fulfilling Allah's right, and fulfilling your brother's right upon you, and being benevolent to them. Number 1 benevolence that we can be to one another, it's if we see something about our brothers and sisters, we start encouraging good and discouraging evil. Al-amr bil-ma'roof wal-nahy 'an al-munkar, which unfortunately we see within our society, it has lost its value completely. As Rasulullah said when he was sitting one day, it's a very, very painful hadith to read. And the reason I say painful, because we see it that is applying to us, unfortunately. No matter how much we want to say, okay, this hadith doesn't apply to us, but it applies to us. Hadith, Rasulullah, one day he was sitting amongst his companion, and he says, I see a day where people will not encourage good and discourage evil anymore. They told him, Rasulullah, is it possible? Is it possible a day will come that people will not encourage good anymore and they will not discourage evil? He said, it is possible. It will happen and it will come worse. They say, worse than this? That people will not encourage good and discourage evil? He said, it will come worse than this. What is it? He said, it will come a day that people will start encouraging evil and discouraging good. They said, this will happen? He said, of course. It will come a day that, as we can see, people encourage evil and discourage good. They said, this happens. He said, even worse than this can happen. What? He said, it will come a day that evil will be known, ma'roof will be known as munkar, and munkar will be known as ma'roof. It will come a day that if somebody wants to do good, this good, it looks like evil to people. And when he does something evil, everybody sees this as a good. We can see we're living it, unfortunately, that unfortunately evil has replaced good, and good became evil in our eyes because, as we said before, culture overtook our religion. we are more cultural than religion. I'm trying to say 50-50. We are 50, when we make decisions, we are 50% cultural, 50% religious. But I see that's not a right analysis. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I'm saying more towards 70 culture, 30 religion. Sometimes some community, 80% culture and 20% religion. This is what Rasulullah was talking about. If we don't do these three things, piety, which we'll discuss it in detail tomorrow night inshallah, and fulfilling Allah's right and being benevolent to one another, فَإِن لَمْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَاللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَنَحْنُ بُرَآءٌ مِّنْهُ. If this person, this believer in us, Ahlul Bayt, if us, we don't practice piety, we don't fulfill Allah's rights, and we are not benevolent toward one another, Imam says, Allah, Rasulullah, and us Ahlul Bayt, we disassociate ourselves from them. We have nothing to do with them. On the day of Qiyamah, we see the Imam of our time. Oh Imam, I was one of the people that lived during your occultation. I believed in you. He said, why didn't you practice piety, Mustafa? Why didn't you fulfill Allah's rights? Why didn't you have ma'rifah and knowledge of Allah and His representative? And why you were not benevolent toward one another? This hadith was from last night. Continuing our discussion tonight. وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. What is the benefit of an imam which is in hidden, which is in occultation? Physically, a lot of people have seen him, but those only who he allows them to get to know him, they get to know him. Other than that, majority of the people who have seen him, they have not recognized him. When he leaves them, oh, he knew my name. He spoke my language. He knew what I needed. And he left. Where is he? They figured out that was the Imam of Time. Many of the stories. وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا. What is his benefit? That as we said, every night, everything that we do, وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا, act, do whatever you do, Allah sees, Rasulullah sees, and the Imam of our time sees. So what is the benefit for me to know that the Imam of my time knows and sees? Let me tell you a hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. قال سمعته يقول ما لكم تسؤون رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. Imam Sadiq says, how come that you people, to his companions, well, it applies to us also. Inshallah, we are the followers of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He says, how comes that you hurt Rasulullah? His companion, فقال الرجل كيف نسؤه? How do we hurt Rasulullah? Rasulullah, shaheed, long time ago. How do we hurt Rasulullah? فقال الإمام. Imam says, أما تعلمون أن أعمالكم تعرض عليه فإذا رأى فيها معصية ساءه ذلك فلا تسؤه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسره. He said, don't you know, and he reads the verse of Quran that we started the lecture, don't you know that Rasulullah, every day your deed comes to him, and when he looks at the deed and he sees ma'siyah, he sees sin, he gets upset. It hurts him to see his followers that claim that he is their followers, but they committed sin. This hurts them. Imam says, make him happy. So how do we make him happy? By doing good deeds. Allah sees, Rasulullah sees, and the Imam sees. Me believing that Imam sees in every action of mine, straighten my belief. Straighten my action, straighten my conduct, straightens my demeanor. I won't go right and left because I have believed, even though I don't see the Imam, but I know the verse of Quran that says Allah sees, Rasulullah sees, and mu'minun see. That is one of the benefits amongst thousands and thousands of benefits, which inshallah we will talk about some of them every night from now onwards. And this belief of ours needs to be practiced. This belief of ours needs to practice. Action plan. May Allah prolong the life of my mother. Give her health. When I was a kid in Qom, my father wasn't there due to some reason. She brought us a notebook, small notebook. She gave us a red pen and a blue pen. Every night we would sit together, and she had a line in the middle of the paper. Good deeds, bad deeds. It's for all of us. It's not only for us when we were a kid. No, for all of us. As a businessman, don't we at the end of the year or end of the month or every quarter we go, how much we gained and how much we lost? What is our cost and what is our expenses? We do it in the business. Every quarter, every month, every week, how much we gained, how much we lost. Why don't we do it about our a'mal? As Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam said, حَاسِبُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ قَبْلَ أَن تُحَاسِبُوا. Calculate your own deeds before they calculate your deeds. We do it every day. Tax season comes. Aren't we very picky? Okay, have I paid my tax? How about this? I go to the accountant, because if I don't do my taxes, Uncle Sam will come and they will do their auditing, and they will know how to pick and choose and get like every penny out of you and I. We do it in our business and money and wealth. Why not a'mal? So every night we would sit, good deeds. Salat al-Dhuhr, today prayed on time, alhamdulillah, check, plus, point. Maghrib and Isha was late, minus. I saw haram, minus. I gossiped, haram, minus. I helped my parents, positive. Everything that we did, we calculate ourselves. So we kept it every day. We came, and that would be our own personal. We don't share it with anybody. And then so we were kids. Every day we would be really, really curious, because today we got 20 out of, for example, 10 out of 20. Tomorrow I have to get 12 out of 20 at least. Make sure I don't go 9 out of 20. Because at the end of the night, I know what I have done, what I have not done. I know it. The glance of haram, hearing of haram, saying of haram, touching of haram, everything, I can calculate myself. So when I see my deeds, at the end of the night, I do istighfar right away. Because as the hadith goes, every Mondays and Thursday, our a'mal, one hadith says every day. Every Mondays, the other hadith says every Mondays and Thursdays, our a'mal goes into presence of our Imam. He sees it. If he sees good deeds, happiness, smile comes on the face of the Imam of our time. If not, of course he's going to get upset. Because Rasulullah gets upset. Because they see our a'mal. You, my Shia, you did this? It hurts you. The sins that we commit hurts us ourselves first than anyone else. Why did you do it? But if we start calculating our deeds, and that is why it is mustahab, it is recommended to fast throughout the year, Mondays and Thursdays, very recommended. If you can do it, let us practice it. Let us move forward. What is the benefit of an imam that we don't see? These are ma'rifah of the imam that you and I have to have. And the more ma'rifah, the more knowledge increases, the more we appreciate, and the more we know our responsibility toward the imam. But if I don't have the knowledge of the imam, I don't know my responsibility toward him. The creation of everything is based on love. Allah created the whole universe based on love. That's it. Hadith says, many of you probably have heard it, Lawlak, Allah addressing Rasulullah. Hadith Qudsi. Lawlak lama khalaqtul aflak. Oh Rasulullah, if it wasn't because of you, I wouldn't create this universe. Pause here. Let me give you an example. Imagine a famous alim, marja' taqleed, scholar, speaker comes to Virginia. A very, very famous speaker or famous marja' taqleed comes. Imagine, may Allah prolong his life, Ayatollah al-Udma Sayyid al-Sistani comes to Virginia. If he comes to Virginia, We invite the whole community because of whom? We invite everybody because of Ayatollah al-Uzma Sayyid Sistani. We invite everybody else. Come. Because of him, come to our house. Everybody's invited. We prepare food for hundreds and hundreds of people. Everybody's invited. Come. Because of one individual, everybody gets invited. Probably people haven't been to my house, for example, before. But when he comes, because of him, everybody comes to my house. My kids probably have not seen this much food in my house. Probably every day at 1 or 2 or 3 different meals. This is it. Right now, tables from here to there. I was invited to one of the Gulf country due to another person who was also famous. We were invited to someone's house, literally, table from here to the door, literally, no exaggeration. One table, all meat and fish and everything. Another table this side, all desserts. Another fruits and you name it. Because of one individual. Kids get benefit. The rest of the community member comes to my house, they benefit. Sometimes we put the leftovers for the birds, they get the benefit. Everybody within that neighborhood gets benefit from this food and this invitation because of whom? One individual. Because he has so much respect, his status is so high that because of him, everybody else gets benefits. The creation of the universe, the creation of all the blessings that you and I get, it's because of me? Respectfully, because of us? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the universe because of 14 people, and that are Muhammad and Al Muhammad, salawat by their names. Not accepted. Let's have another loud salawat. For the reappearance of the Imam, let's have the third salawat louder. Everything that is being created, it's because of Ahlul Bayt alayhum as-salam. Allah creates this universe because of Ahlul Bayt. You and I, because of Ahlul Bayt, gets the blessings. The rain that comes, the sun that rises, the moon that comes, the ocean, the oxygen, every blessings that you and I get, it's because of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Because of the being of the Imam, Allah sends rain, you and I benefit from the rain also. Because of the Imam, sun rises, you and I benefit from the sun. Because of the Imam, the whole universe is its own place, one individual. That is why the hadith says, if that individual is gone from this earth, the universe won't stand still. That one individual is needed, even though we don't see the Imam physically, even though we cannot communicate with him, but our existence, everything, blessings that we get from him, because of him, as the statement goes, بِيُمْنِهِ رُزِقَ الْوَرَى وَبِوُجُودِهِ ثَبَتَتِ الْأَرْضُ وَالسَّمَاء. Because of him, everything gets their sustenance. And sustenance is not only food. How long we last, how long we live in this world is our rizq. Every day that we get up and we're alive, one more day, that's rizq that you and I got. Another person who died yesterday, he didn't get the rizq of being alive today. Don't think of rizq only food that we eat. No, everything is rizq. Tonight we gather here or any other centers that you go, it's rizq. Don't take it lightly. You just came, okay, let's just go to the center. We hear something, we eat something and dua. No, it's rizq. Being patient is rizq. Having good wife and husband is rizq. Having good children is rizq. Granting go Hajj and Atabatul Muqaddasa is rizq. Having good parents is rizq. Being able to breathe is rizq. Being healthy is rizq. All of these, everything that we get is rizq. بِيُمْنِهِ, because of him we get, and بِوُجُودِهِ, by his existence, ثَبَتَتِ الْأَرْضُ وَالسَّمَاء. Because of his existence, the heaven and earth, they are stable and they don't vanish. Where else we get it? that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everything because of them. Ziyarah al-Jami'ah al-Kabira. Please read it. It's been ordered by the Imam. Very long story, that one person was lost, and it's a long story. Imam gets him and he shows him the direction. He gets to know the Imam. He says, Imam, advise me. If I have problem, what I should do? Imam says, Ashura, Ashura, Ashura. Ziyarat Ashura. That we should be reading it on a daily basis. And he says, Imam, more. He says, Al-Jami'ah, Al-Jami'ah, Al-Jami'ah. Ziyarah Jami'ah Al-Kabira. If we want to get to know the Imams, let us read Ziyarah Jami'ah Al-Kabira. Basically, as I've said it before, Ziyarah Jami'ah Al-Kabira is the resume of the Imams. If we want to know their status, Ziyarah Jami'ah Al-Kabira that has reached to us by our Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam explains to us exactly what is the status of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. A beautiful ziyarah that I have 100 lectures in my laptop about the tafsir of Ziyarah Jami'ah Al-Kabira. At least it will take us 150 nights to cover this ziyarah. What it says in it, بِكُمْ فَتَحَ اللَّهُ وَبِكُمْ يَخْتِمْ. By you, Allah opens everything and started everything, and by you, He closes everything and ends everything. So it's because of them. They have been given this, and because of them we get everything else. Become, by you, Fatah Allah. Allah opened everything. وَبِكُمْ يَخْتِمْ. By you He ends. وَبِكُمْ يُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثِ. Ghayth, in the Arabic dictionary, it's not rain. No. That's matar. Ghayth, al-ghayth. Al-ghayth is when it's drought, no rain. And we do salat al-istisqa. We go in the middle of the desert, let's pray everybody for rain to come. And the rains that we got in the past week, you know how it pours? That you go 1 second out and you are completely soaked. That is called ghayth. Drought. And then you pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't just come a drop or two. No, it pours down. بِكُمْ يُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثِ وَبِكُمْ يُمْسِكُ السَّمَاءَ أَن تَقَعَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. By you, Allah holds heaven from falling down and earth by His permission, by your permission. So you see the benefit of the Imam? We don't see the Imam? No problem. It's okay. That is painful. We should do dua for us to be able to see him and communicate with him. But even though we don't see him, we cannot communicate with him, we are benefiting from him. How? Summarizing last night and tonight, because tomorrow we're going to start taqwa within the occultation of the Imam. The universe belongs to them. This earth belongs to them. We live on their property. We get sustenance because of him. We are wealthy and healthy and living because of him. This much should be enough for us to know that let me give you an example. Imagine you're drowning. Somebody comes and gives you a hand. Let me get my hand. You get his hand, you take his hand, and he saves you. How can you pay him back? How? Thank you. The typical American lifestyle. Thank you for saving me. That's it. You just move on. Very, very generic. Thank you. Not even a hug or nothing. Just thank you. This is it. Is this how much this is how we can pay him back? Do you think we can pay them back at all? No. We give them $1 million. We worked and we gave them $1 million. Well, the work that we did was because we were alive. And our life depended on him saving us. If he wouldn't save us, we wouldn't be able to work and we wouldn't be able to pay $1 million. $10 million still is nothing. If you give him your life, still is nothing. Because he saved you from drowning. Imam al-Mahdi ajalallah ta'ala faraj al-sharif, not only he saves us from our drowning, our existence is due to his prayer. As the hadith goes, and I will conclude. The hadith says, us Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He creates. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He gives sustenance to people. If it wasn't because of the dua of the Imam, you and I, we wouldn't exist. Our existence is dependent on him. What is the value of the Imam which we don't see? All of these values. How can we appreciate it? First action plan, let us gain knowledge of the Imam. The more knowledge we gain, the more we will know our rights and responsibility toward him, and inshallah Allah will grant us to fulfill it. Let's have a loud salawat. Let us raise our hand and read Dua al-Ghariq that Imam have prescribed for you and I. That inshallah this dua and the blessing of these nights and the blessings of this topic of Al-Mahdi Ajralallah Ta'ala Faraj Sharif will save us and our children from the seditions of the end of the world, from the fitan of Akhir al-Zaman. Together, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya Allahu, Ya Rahmanu, Ya Rahim. Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Ya Allahu, Ya Rahmanu, Ya Rahim. Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Ya Allahu, Ya Rahmanu, Ya Rahim. Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma kun li waliyika al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صلوات.